chairman.
Number 5.
Okay.
5:1. And I'm doing the message, so it may not line up with what you got, but nothing has changed. It's got in big bold letters, nothing but sin and bones, is the way it starts. It says, dear friend, pay close attention to this. What? My wisdom. Listen very closely to the way I see it. Then you'll acquire a taste for good sense. What I tell you will keep you out of trouble.
You said 5, didn't you?
Yeah, that was 1 through 5. Well, that was 1 and 2. But yeah, we're on Proverbs 5.
Thank you.
So this is Solomon talking. So Solomon was and still and always will be the wisest man that ever lived. And most people don't know that when Solomon asked God to give him wisdom, but before he said that, he says, I want your heart. That's what he told God. I want your heart. Then I want wisdom. But most people aren't taught that. So he had the heart of God. Then he got wisdom. So that's very important to understand. Hallelujah. So he says, dear friend, pay close attention to this. To what? My wisdom. This is the wisdom that everybody needs, that everybody wants. Listen very closely to the way I see it. And I'm using my wisdom to see this information. Then you'll acquire a taste for good sense. After you've acquired wisdom, then you'll have a taste for good sense. What I tell you will keep you out of trouble. Listen to me. Unfortunately, Jesus is telling us, listen, when I say turn right, it would be good for you to do, not to argue. Or because you're so mad, you turn left. I've done that a lot. Just out of the being mean. So this comes about. The lips of a seductive woman are so sweet. They are so sweet. You ever had that happen? That seductive woman? That turns a $100 whore into a $500 whore. I've been there. Oh.
There ain't no free lunch.
No. No. Yeah, here's my sister, she's a virgin, you know, only so much, yeah, had that in Vietnam. Her soft words are so sweet. But it won't be long before she's gravel in your mouth.
Oh, and you-
Yeah.
that one tastes very good.
That's how sweet this baby is. She's dancing down the primrose path to death. She's headed straight for hell and taking you with her. She hasn't a clue about real life, about who she is or where she's going. See, women like that, they live in a bubble. They live in a closed environmental bubble, especially back during his time. Because that's all they were. They had temple prostitutes, and that's what you did to pay the money, have sex, and that was your prayer. That's how you pray to the gods. You didn't know that? That's been around for a long time.
That was paganism.
Pardon?
Paganism.
Yeah, yeah. And part of that was indoctrinated into the Christian religion, which we celebrate today.
Some of it's still in the Catholic Church.
Yes. Easter. For one,
Just want to get that on too.
Christmas for another. Yes, it was celebrating of the pagan. Anyway, we could go into that, but we're into this. Chapter 7 through 14, or verse 7 through 14. So my friend, listen closely. He keeps telling you to listen. So this is very important. Most people don't listen.
Yeah.
They try to listen with their mouth open and their ears shut. Because they want to tell you how smart they are. They don't care about how smart you are. They want to show you how smart they are. So my friend, listen closely. Don't treat my words casually. Listen. Keep your distance from such a woman. Absolutely stay out of her neighborhood. You don't want to squander your wonderful life, to waste your precious life among the hard-hearted. Now, that is perfect for today, the hard-hearted.
Yeah.
How many people do you associate that are, you know, that are hard-hearted? And they can be in a Bible study, they can be in your church, they can be living under your roof,
Yeah.
but they're hard-hearted. That's what he's talking about.
You mean by that refusing to listen?
Yes,
Like it says?
yes, hard-hearted. And most of them that are that hard-hearted aren't born again. They may say so, but they're not. They can't be. It's an intellectual pursuit on their part. Everything, like, what's his face from Alabama? I'm not
Randy?
saying he's, huh?
Randy Sutton?
Yeah,
Citizen?
yeah, he's hard-hearted. See, he's always skirting around the thing.
Who did?
The guy came here a couple of times.
Oh,
He was, Jim met him at
Richards?
Richard's Bible study. And he knew Richard. He rode with him for a while. But he just cannot put Jesus first. He just won't do it. He was a linebacker at Vanderbilt. Real smart guy. Other than that, he's really stupid, but anyway. Physically, he was, you know, school book learning, very smart. So my friend, listen closely. Don't treat your words casually. Don't treat my words casually, not your words. Keep your distance from such a woman. Absolutely stay out of her neighborhood. Get out of that environment. Because when you go into that kind of environment, and it can be anywhere, you're subject to that energy is being produced in that environment. So you got to be careful, because you're subject to it. The lifestyle of a person can affect you terribly. That's why I stay in the basement, and the surface dwellers rule up there. Because I don't get involved in cigarette smoke and tobacco and cigars and the liquor and the Pepsi and all that other crap.
And that is true, when you're around people who are negative, you know, it'll wear off unless you send it away. You know?
It has to.
It has to, oh yeah.
And you can't get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It will get inside of you because it's energy. It's
Yeah.
vibrational energy. And the mitochondria that makes you up who you are is full of water. And that's how you generate the electricity that makes your body work. Well, all this negative energy that you're getting into, especially you with the church people that you know, I'm not saying they're not going to heaven,
don't point at me so much.
because you talk about it. And I know where you go to church. And it sucks it takes the water out of it. And when that happens, you walk around dehydrated. Ed Everett walks around dehydrated. Most everybody does. You do. You do. You drink, you know, more. And we talked about drinking water. But that dehydration, what's that do to you physically?
Drains your energy.
Oh yeah.
It makes you get old too.
Yeah.
It sucks the life out of you. That's called energy vampires. And they do. They'll suck the life right out of it. And you won't even know it. Especially you, Chris, and your congregation. I mean, I'm sure you've had turnover since I've been there, but there's a lot of people that are negative there. And that energy, look, you've got to run on energy. That's what your body does. We're all energy driven, and it's from the sun. It's photon energy. That's where it comes from. But those people that love to argue, they're sucking energy out of you. And some days you're so tired because you've been surrounded by so many fools, and you have to go home and recharge. Well, this is what I'm talking about. This is what he's talking about. Be careful. Don't surround yourself with people that aren't like-minded, because they're taking the energy from you. And it does take a toll on your body. And it can kill you or make you sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you got to be careful. Or not. Don't. I mean, but it's up to you. But yeah, it's just not going to Sunday school and church every Wednesday and Sunday and not cussing and, you know, shying away from half-naked women. That's not what I'm talking about. Although you shouldn't do that either, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a lifestyle. You don't want to squander your wonderful life. This is God's life that He's given you. To waste your precious life among the hard-hearted. Why should you allow strangers to take advantage of you? That's what I'm talking about, the energy vampires. Why be exploited
Exploring.
Why be
Your head will explode
Yeah.
if you send around those who are negative and care nothing about
by those who care nothing for you? Then they don't. It's all about me. It's all about myself. I'm smarter than you are, I'm taller than you are, I'm prettier than you are. And that's what people, everybody compares everybody to self, just about. You don't want to end up your life full of regrets. And man, did I have a bunch. Nothing but sin and bones, nothing but sin and bones. Saying, oh, why didn't I do what they told me? Why did I reject a disciplined life? Why didn't I listen to my mentors or take my teachers seriously? My life is ruined. I haven't one blessed thing to show for my life.
Because sin's more comfortable.
The natural default position of the mind is sin.
The flesh, yeah.
Because you don't have to do anything. You're just there and you receive it. Now you have to make a decision if you want to be born again.
Yeah.
See, that's discipline. That's a disciplined life. If you've ever been in the military, and Jim and I were talking about this, it becomes a lot easier because you taught discipline in the military. You were taught, discipline in the military. Military can't run without discipline. Unfortunately, today, in this age of modern technology, and there's no discipline. There's no morality. If you don't believe me, look at Washington, D.C. Look at all the college professors. Look at all the students that are
They
in
look at all the
college.
idiot students.
Pardon?
Look at all the idiot students.
Oh, well, yeah, there's no morality. They've got no point. See, no reference to fall back
And
to.
what makes it harder today is that if you're going to take the narrow path, as described in the Bible, you're going to have to confront and make angry almost everybody you know. Friends, family, so on and so on. And that's a decision that you have to make
Yeah,
if you're gonna do it.
yeah, you have to pay the price.
That will be a price to pay. It's kind of like, and this guy called in, Rush Limbaugh one day, a black guy called in and said, you guys have no idea. He said, I'm a Trump supporter, I'm a conservative, and to live in the black culture like I do is unbelievable. And I said, he's right.
Yes.
That's gotta be. Well, you're out of step with everybody you hang around with.
Yeah, you just spoke about how my life is, and it's always been that way, and it'll always.
Right there, same thing with you, right?
Same thing.
Wow.
And society's changed too, like, you guys are older than I am, but the,
Good eye, Bill.
growing up, I'm only 75,
You're a young guy.
when you were 50, 40 years ago, when you were sick at school, and you stayed home, there'd be ads on TV. Truck driving school, bartending school, get a job. You don't have a freaking job, you need a job.
That's true.
Now, if you watch ads during the day, lawyer, been hit by a big rig, big money.
Not my fault.
And the society won't look at the underlying issue. Like the black community, fathers left the homes back in the 50s. Crime wasn't an issue. Like 80% of black families had a husband and a wife at home. This wasn't an issue. All these, now they're like, oh, the laws are bad, black people are getting drugged. No, they don't. It's fatherlessness. And now the same things happen in the last 20 years to the white community, and all these teenage boys are growing up without dads, and they're going batshit crazy because they don't have a masculine influence in their lives. And there's groups like 100 Black Men and different things that they go into the inner city and they mentor and become like a father figure to one person, and these people, a lot of them are getting in trouble. They're in juvenile, getting out of juvenile, and most people would write them off, but they just show somebody love and a father what a manhood looks like, totally change their lives.
It's love.
But they don't, it is love, but society won't do that. Oh, make tougher gun laws. That's not the issue. That doesn't, there's an underlying issue. It's like, go to the doctor, oh, I got this problem. Oh, here's a pill. That doesn't fix it. You solve the problem.
No, it's a
You
bad.
gotta get rid of the problem.
It's
You
a
know,
bad
Band-Aid.
thing. Yeah.
Let's go back to the
But you
50s.
tell people, oh, it's this, they're like, oh no, that's too simple. I'm like,
Go back to the 50s and 60s and ask the question, why were there absolutely zero school shootings back in the 50s?
Yeah.
Why? What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
The liberals won't answer that right, they never will.
Well,
That's
see,
correct. It's
Johnson,
the culture.
They say it's more guns now. Yeah.
No, it's the culture.
Oh, of course it's the culture.
Bull.
Yeah. Of course it's the culture, yeah.
When you watch video games all day and night of killing and maim and blood and guts as a teenager,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? What's gonna be in your
That's
life?
part of it, but the bigger part is this. This culture today has trivialized life.
Oh, yeah.
You can abort
Yeah.
somebody who is a full human
Yeah.
just because they're
Exactly.
inconvenient, and then you can't, see, that's a description to these young people. They know fully well that's a full person. I don't care what somebody, they know, they can see it.
And science is
they
changing
think-
that.
They think,
because
well,
of
you may
3D.
tell me that you can only abort those people, but life can't be that important, so if I see somebody.
Believe in their own town.
Older guys, I'm just gonna shoot them.
They're starting to question.
In their own town, 70% of the babies that are born in,
They're like,
out of
that's
wedlock.
personal. That's not,
they don't have
you know.
a two-parent family.
It's a culture.
Not having a father is like.
but it's been set up that way.
The answer is the culture that the liberals have set up. It's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It's
They want
And
to
the
take,
government's taken over the place of the black male and the male and underprivileged kids
but it's
society.
God, is what they're taking. It's taking
Oh,
the
yeah.
place of God, so they're taking God out of everything.
See,
They have to, they're iniquitous.
Yeah.
something happened, all of us in here would know this person has been an influence on millions and millions. Billy Graham died one day.
We heard, we were talking about that.
And you got images of people like that where I grew up, and I went to some of his, I've been to 2 of his crusades. But just the image of having a guy like that going throughout the world, of what he stood for and the values he had a big influence on a lot of people.
Right, absolutely.
But see, you don't have that now.
That's right, you don't.
Well, you've got all these guys that are Hollywood
Yeah,
actors that are on TBN and all that
Yeah.
other crap.
fundraising more than
Yeah.
anything.
And what's his face, the guy that can't heal anybody, and he does healing ministries everywhere, and what was his name?
Benny Hinn or something?
Yeah, Benny Hinn.
Oh, yeah.
Total fraud.
We were talking about Billy Graham, though. I was just-
No, but yeah. but-
Right, I mean,
but
yeah, I'm just
Billy,
saying.
he's supposed to take he's a farce.
Oh,
It's awful.
but Lloyd and I were talking about it. My wife went to a Billy Graham crusade in 1959 and got born again at the age of 12.
But that's what Billy, and he was a good Baptist. He didn't believe in healing, but he was still a good
Who?
Baptist, Billy
Was he
Graham.
a
Oh, he believed in healing.
I thought he was Church of
He
Christ.
just didn't do it outwardly.
Well,
He believed the Bible.
well, I know for a fact that somebody was turned away when he was in Kenya about a big Bible thing, but that's okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Billy Graham was a
He did
wonderful
what he was
man,
supposed
he
to do.
just did what he was taught,
Mhm.
and there was more to be taught, but once again, it doesn't matter.
Well,
He's
you
got a
have-
lot of folks born again, I'm not saying he did, but he didn't have all of the tools that he could have had. That's
But he
all.
was energized by the Lord to do a certain work.
I'm not saying that.
You know, I read a story about him one time. When he was a younger guy, he would preach sometimes 8 times a day.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah, he's preaching salvation.
Yeah.
Not healing,
Yeah.
salvation. But, and that's fine, and I'm glad he was there. And I watched him on TV.
he let somebody else handle that.
Well, yeah, he was his number 2 guy. But it doesn't matter, hallelujah. He was wonderful. But he was not all. He was part of the stuff. That's all I'm saying. Hallelujah. Never take love for granted. Do you know the saying, drink from your own rain barrel?
I know what that means.
Draw water from your own spring.
Where are we now, Lord?
We're in 16, 15 and 16.
What chapter?
5.
Five.
We're in 5 for the rest of the day. I want to do 1 chapter a deal.
Yeah, the Amplified says, drink water from your own cistern
Yeah.
of a pure marriage relationship. Yeah.
Draw water from your own spring-fed well. It's true. Otherwise, you may one day come home and find your barrel empty and well polluted. You know what that means?
Wow.
Yeah. That's why I like the message. It's
That
not-
is good, yeah.
It's not an exact interpretation, but it's
That's good,
good.
oh,
He said, look, just because you get to run around doesn't mean your wife can't.
Well,
That's
now
what
we
he
come
said.
down to verse 19 where, okay, dear wife, you need to check this one out right here. Talks about the, let her breast refresh and satisfy you at all times. All times.
Yeah, that's Song of Solomon. Yeah, he writes about that. Your spring water is for you and you only, not to be passed around among strangers. Don't be banging all these whores. Bless your flesh flowing fountain.
Excuse me just a second. What is it? Read the first section of 19 again. I don't understand.
I haven't got,
I skipped it here, he hadn't got down there yet.
Oh, yeah.
He's up on 17.
Oh,
I'm on 17, which will go to 19.
okay.
It's just all one big paragraph here, but it's got it broken down.
Okay.
Your spring water is for you and you only. That means don't spread the seed. Not to be passed around among strangers, and that's where that comes from. Bless your fresh flowing fountain. What's that mean? It means love yourself, which most everybody in here doesn't. You could love yourself more, and you really need to do that because, look, you can't love anybody, you can't show anybody love until you love yourself.
It's true.
And none of us love ourselves 100% because we know what we did. You can't run away from yourself. Look, everywhere you go, there you are. So you can't get away from self, and you know what you've done.
That's why you have to create a habit of continually persuading your heart that the memories about your old self that is not acceptable to you is no longer the real you.
Yes,
That's what.
correct.
And
That's the-
confess your righteousness.
And you know what your mind's going to do? It's going to
Well, it's
bring it
probably
up.
gonna fight it.
Yeah, it will. It'll bring it up. It'll bring it up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It'll wake you up out of bed. It does me. You remember this? You remember doing that? And I'm going, no, that's not who I am. That died, because I died. But it still happens to me, and I'm 71 years old. So what's that telling you? I know it happens to everybody, but it's just part of
Oh, yeah.
that lifestyle that we've lived through, and it's in the subconscious, and it's a memory, but it's not good or bad in the subconscious, it just is. But the subconscious will bring that up. And then the forefront of your brain, this part up here where the conscious side is, it will latch onto it. And then it brings you back to all the memories in your brain and in your mind, and it'll connect all these things together. And that is what we're talking about. See?
I'm teaching myself, and I'm not there yet, of getting in the habit of immediately when those thoughts come, send them away.
That's
Just
the-
say, you're
yes.
lying. I don't need you. I don't want you to get out of here. You're lying.
It has no value. Yes, yeah. And
Well, the
that-
other thing too, like, when you see God for who he really is and you for who you really are, then transformation is effortless. Like in my company, effortless. It doesn't, you don't do anything.
That's where you enter the rest right there.
Oh yeah, because, the bottom line is, and you can ask people, if you just, ask them, say, who do you look in the mirror when you see? I tell them, I see Jesus.
Don't think you're
what?
nuts, man.
What? I said, and I said, well, this is who you are. You're the Son of the Most High God. You're righteous, you're holy, you're blameless. You're already perfected. You're perfect. You tell people that? And they're like, what? They don't accept it. And you got to keep on telling the truth because your subconscious in the world and the church is lied to you.
So they've been
over
in
and over
churches
again.
where the pastors don't teach that.
Oh, there's like 1%.
We, on the other hand, are sitting in a room with a hen's teeth pastor. Where is hen's teeth? There he is.
You got to remember that you're speaking of spirit world things, and they have no idea what that is. And they're trying to bring spirit and make it into flesh, so the five physicals can tell them what's going on. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Spirit is spirit, flesh is flesh. See, we've grown up dependent on our five physical senses. It gathers all the
That's
information
so
Yeah, oh yeah.
from
Which
our
has been
reality.
lied to us from day one.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
But yes,
Oh, yeah.
but we're still relying on our five physical
Yeah.
senses, and mostly sight. It's, you know, what do you walk by?
Well, I had a cyst in my eye yesterday.
Yeah, I saw
So I
that.
go there, so they got a little black eye thing, so she looks at it, you know, and, so she's, then she cuts it out, and she's like, you know, oh, it's gonna be like, you know, probably a week or two to heal, and it'll be a lot of pain and stuff. And I called BS on that, I just said, anyway, I played tennis last night for 3 hours. You know, it's bruised on the physical body, but
It's
I had no
because-
pain or
It's
anything.
because she.
Yeah, she was, you
Yeah,
know.
you gotta have, that's
Yeah.
just natural progression.
But I
of the
play
body.
tennis, I'm not like, you know.
No, you don't have
It's
to.
not, no, you know.
You don't have to. Hallelujah.
Whatever we get in agreement with,
Yes.
so we have this power, yeah,
Hallelujah.
yeah.
Your spring water is for you and you only, not to be passed around among strangers. Bless your fresh flowing fountain. That's you. Enjoy the wife you married as a young man. Well, I had one when I was young. I had one when I was a little older. I had one a little older than that, and I've had this one for 43 years. Hallelujah. Lovely as an angel, beautiful as a rose. You didn't see my wives. Don't ever quit talking.
Don't let her see this recording.
It doesn't matter. Enjoy your wife. You're married as a young man. Lovely as an angel, beautiful as a rose. Don't ever quit talking. Delightful in her body, about her body. Oh, you're just, pile it on. But mean it, you know. You're not getting to get, and that's what most men do in marriage. Did you know that? How many times have you given to get? I know you all have. I mean, that's part of who we
Yeah.
are. It's not good, but it's who we are. Never take her love for granted. I have never been loved unconditionally in my life except by one person, Jesus. Everybody else that I've ever loved or loved me, and I really never ever loved anybody that I know of, 100%, never. I married for a reason, not the reason, a reason. I'm just talking about you guys, I'm talking about me, okay? This is where I come from, this was my reality. Hallelujah. I'm married for money, I'm married for sex, I've married, for a lot of different things. And of course, none of it worked, because it was all about me. Never take her love for granted. And if it's true love, don't take it for granted, because that is very precious. Why would you trade enduring intimacies for cheap thrills with a whore? I don't know. For deliverance with a promiscuous stranger. Ooh, did we do that? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did, yeah.
We all did. In the military, especially in the military, we did it. I don't know about Chris. Were you promiscuous when you were young?
Promiscuous. That's not even a word, but,
Yeah, it worked. You know what I'm
Hey,
talking about.
I got one thing to say about this though. So my first marriage, I was, doing all this shit, and everything. So my sex life with my first wife sucked,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a guy, sex life can't be as that bad, but it pretty much sucked,
Yeah, there's good and
I'm like, it's kind of like eating ice cream, Like there's good ice cream and there's better ice cream.
Exactly.
Like that, So, like in the Amplified, it says in verse 19, let your fountain wife be blessed with the rewards of fidelity and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Let her be as a loving hind and graceful doe. Let her breast refresh and satisfy you at all times, always be exhilarated and delight in your love. And then now I'm remarried and I'm not doing that crap, and like it's amazing,
Yeah.
So and I have friends who are like had cheated on their wives and stuff, different things, and they still are, and they're like, yeah, my sex life, my wife sucks. I'm like, yeah, because you're bringing all that shit into your marriage bed, it's
it's all
there's and you're comparing it to this and that.
right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's
oh, yeah.
temporal and it's all flesh.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to end.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And generally, she's going to catch you, and then
Yeah.
you're going to wish it ended. But I'll say one thing: I never had an affair as long as I was married.
never did.
Never did. None of them.
Well, an affair means that you are emotionally wrapped up.
Yes, I didn't have any sex either, other than my wife. I
It's
never.
hard to get emotionally wrapped up with 30 minutes.
Yeah, I did the 30 minutes too, yeah. It was hard to get them.
Well, put it on the table, guys.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, did I ever look at another woman? Of course I did. Did I ever dream about another woman? I never dreamt about one, but I had walking daydreams about them.
Walking there.
But I would never, and I think that's my training that I grew up with from my mother, although they weren't religious people. And I know my father ran around on my mom. That's just, he came from that era of being a man. You had to have more than one woman. and-
Well, so did my dad did too.
Yeah. But that's okay. Hallelujah. But I want to be honest. I want to be real with you guys. I'm not up here tooting to show you how great I was and I'm your example. No, I'm not. I did everything wrong my whole life. Even sometimes I still do today. But I'm better than I was. And that's where I want you guys to be, better than you were. And it doesn't matter what about women or sex. It can be anything in your life. You know what it is. I don't, but you do. Because you can't get away from yourself. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. You know exactly. You know when you looked at that little girl that could have been young enough to be your daughter and she was half naked, and I know you looked at her, but that's okay. I don't know anybody that doesn't. But maybe that somebody's lying to you. That would be the only reason. Look, we live in a physical body. And that's the anchor that we have to drag around while we're on earth. And it's subject to our 5 physical senses. And it's subject to everything that you've ever learned emotionally. And out of all the emotions, love and fear in this world, 70% of it is fear. And that's what we've been taught, fear. And it's been that way since you were in your mama's stomach. So you come out in fear. You think in fear. You look in fear. That's what you experience is fear. And it can be fear of whatever. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You can change your DNA through the right type of meditation and frequencies. Through vibrational frequencies. It's called 528, and that's a frequency of love. And that can rewrite and repair your DNA. And that is the building block of life that every one of us has. Without DNA, you couldn't be
I
here.
got one of those I listen to every day.
Good. So, I would suggest that if you don't have the 528 frequency, you can get it, it's free. It's on the laptop or somewhere. And you can buy tuning forks with 528, which is very, very good for you. Ed's got one. I would suggest you do that. But this is what I want. This is the kind of feedback I want. I want us to be real with each other, not religious. I hate religion. Hallelujah. Mark well that God doesn't miss a move you make. He's aware of every step you take. The shadow of your sin will overtake you. You'll find yourself stumbling all over yourself in the dark. Death is a reward of an undisciplined life. Your foolish decisions trap you in a dead end. It's always going to be, everything, I don't care what it is based on your belief system. What do you believe? And nobody else did anything that made you do anything. You did it yourself. But no, there ain't nobody.
These people are like, oh, you made me do that. It's like, no, I didn't, you know? Like there's a song that says, and there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. And it says, once you choose it, you can't lose it. So if I choose joy, nothing can, doesn't matter what happens, you know?
That's right.
It's a choice.
And Chris, you know better than all of us, you grew up in a really disciplined, terrible atmosphere as a child. I mean, it was awful. But you got through it, brother. And you're a better man for it. I'm just sorry to to say that you grew up through it, but that's okay. Caused you a lot of problems, still gonna cause you a lot of problems, because you've got this, no, but, and, you know, Satan had all that power back when you were growing up, and he was there to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what a lot of people believe today. It's not you killing, stealing, and destroying. You. It's Satan. How many times have you heard that, Ed?
I've heard it a lot.
Well, you will.
Yeah.
I know Eddie has.
Yeah, and even here it says, you know, Amplified, the iniquities done by a wicked man will trap him. Not that Satan's trapping him, he's doing it himself.
Right.
And he will be held by the cords of his own sin.
That's a good point, right there.
And this is a good one. He will die for lack of instruction.
Yeah.
You know,
My people perish.
Look at the last verse, the last verse.
and in his greatness of his foolishness, he will go astray and be lost.
And be lost.
Yeah.
God, that is like,
Yeah.
wow. Lost.
Well, it's, you know, it applies today.
It does
Even
apply.
though you can be born again and still be lost. Did you know that? Did you guys know that? You can still be lost and be born again. The hush falls over the crowd.
Well, being born again, it's just like, you know, the road is narrow and few will find it. That's not being a Christian.
No.
That's being in union with Jesus and making him the only thing in your life, you know? And to me, where it says, you know, when you're born again, you're going to be, you know, not a Christian, go to church on Sunday, and you're going to heaven, but you're not born again. You're the same old person, full of doubt, fear, unbelief, which is 90% of Christians. You don't believe anything Jesus says, that, you know, you can speak to, you've been given everything, he's not going to do anything else. You know, you can speak to any situation, except you can't control another person, you control everything else besides that, you know?
Yeah, it's idolatry.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it is. You don't put Jesus first.
Yeah.
And that's what he says, put me first.
Well, your spirit can be renewed, but you can still act like an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah, but that's renewing
Yeah.
what? Your subconscious, the physical
Well, you have,
side.
that's where you, it's your work is to persuade your heart that the truth of what happened to you is real. If you don't,
Yeah, you're making excuses.
you'll have an early death, is
Yeah,
what you say.
it's the ego protecting itself. Wasn't my fault. It was Herbert's fault, or it was Satan's fault, or it was the pastor's fault that day, or it was my wife's. No, it's yours. And until you understand that, and you can get that through your
Hard to say that.
Yeah, it was an old book about somebody that was nuts. It was not-
Scripture I like is 2 Thessalonians 2:10, which basically says, in paraphrase, people perish, born again, unborn again, because they refuse to have a love of the truth. Find it, which is, the truth is Jesus, of course.
Yes, and the love will,
Set you free. From,
and that's the only way. you're gonna
that's
get free.
exactly right, yeah.
And that part of love is just not one single
Well,
love. It's a multitude of different loves, and part of that love is you gotta love yourself.
That's true, that's
Sets
a
you,
good point.
See,
I was reading it, and you're right, I agree with that. The love of the truth to me means, okay, now you're diligently, with intention, gonna seek it. If
Yes.
you do that, you'll find it. That's what the word
yes,
says.
you have to,
Right.
because you won't give up. But most people aren't made that way. They want it handed to them, you know. I'm not gonna change, I'm gonna stay the same, I'm gonna treat everybody the same, and I want my salvation to come to me. Well, they don't work that way, I'm sorry. God's given it all, but you've gotta pick it up. You've gotta go from there to here, to receive all of that. But he's given it to you,
It does.
but it's still there in front of you, and you've gotta receive it. Because if you don't, then you're subject to what? Everything.
Everything that, yeah, all the crap-a-roni.
Yeah, all the junk that we've lived through. Oh, that's, you know, the stupid stuff we've done. And, you know, they don't draft old people to put them in the military, or at least they didn't. It was always done. And that's what I blame myself on, me being stupid and young. But, you know, but there's still old people doing the same stuff. You got anything to add, Mr. Raines?
Oh, gracious.
I'm old, so I know all about it.
So what you're saying is you agree? Yes, okay. Well, anybody have anything else to add? That was the last,
Every time though I hear a sermon in a church today, it's almost like a repetitive oratory that has no meaning.
yeah,
You're at the wrong place.
You wouldn't think that, by a guy that's been in the ministry 40 years would know better than not to feel, when he's called and he's responsible on Sunday to bring the Word of God, bring the Scripture.
yes.
And it's the risk that he's taken to not do that as a called out minister. Ed, we had what do we call that? A prophetic. We ordained a black guy this morning at Dwight's Bible study. And I'm still trying to bring that in my mind, that how that's approved. Who in the state of Georgia gives you the authority, Chris, to ordain someone else to be in the ministry?
Well, it depends if the ministry is established like a 501c3.
No, I'm talking about to give him the right to call himself a prophet or a minister, and use that in a way of having the legal status, the tax it.
Well, that's what I'm
Advantage.
saying. It has to be someone that only can do that like I can with New Life, because we're a separate recognized entity with 501c3.
By who?
By the IRS, by the state. You have articles of incorporation, and you file them every year, so the state recognizes it, and then the IRS. See, the only way you can be licensed or ordained, and an ordained minister gets tax benefits that a licensed minister will not get. And an ordained minister has to have a 501c3 number backing him up to get the tax breaks.
Will he have that in?
To perform wedding. Now, a licensed
Will he have-
minister.
He can get that though. You can get it for, you can start a 501.
He can get
I mean,
that?
yeah, you can get a 501(c) and start a
All I
nonprofit.
know is Dwight is an ordained minister.
Well,
He
anybody,
has to have
Anybody
somebody
can-
back
Wait a
in.
minute.
Yeah,
that got no authority in that. That's just, there's
Well-
not. I'm sorry.
Well, he ordained, it was him, the one ordaining Frankie today.
Right.
But you can do it.
Well,
Anybody can do it.
Anybody.
Well, then anybody could do it, but Dwight did it, he's an
I'm
anybody.
not saying that.
Okay.
But you're saying that because he was an ordained minister,
Right.
it ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay, well, then he was ordained, whether Eddie Raines comes up and say, I'll ordain you as a minister, it was a service that was an ordination.
He turned it into a religious exercise, is what that.
yeah,
Well,
anybody can start a ministry and have a 501(c) and be
Well, see, I don't
nonprofit
believe in
and
the
try himself a ministry.
501c3.
And I don't either.
That's a bunch of crud.
But that's,
But
you-
yeah, all
but
you're
that's for-
trying
that's
to
for-
do is get tax benefits.
yes, it's for
And
getting
that ain't-
money.
That ain't the way it's supposed to be.
Well,
I mean, you should
it
give out
depends.
love to
It depends
heck
though,
with
it
this tax.
depends, that depends. It depends how much money you got coming in. I have to have a 501c3 because you got $300,000-$400,000 a year coming in.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
put me in jail.
Yeah, oh
You
yeah.
know, but if you've got $400 or $500 coming in, you have to have a 501c3 if you're going to
There's
have a
nothing, I don't
congregation.
see anything wrong with that at all. Yeah.
Well, you have
Yeah.
to, by the law,
Yeah.
but it depends how much
Yeah.
money.
There is no law that says you have to have a 501(c)(3).
I know that, but
Oh.
if somebody comes in here and gives you $1 million, if
You wouldn't see me.
Lloyd's get more ministries, if you don't have 501c3 status, you're gonna have certain issues with the
Well,
IRS.
he
Well,
just
well,
taxed on the whole thing.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
That's it.
Or he pays
That's
taxes.
it. There's your answer.
He's reported.
All it has to do would be just to declare income.
The income and the person giving it will have to,
Right, and you won't get a
there might
tax
be a
break.
1099 involved.
It's,
Correct.
it's,
Exactly
yes, exactly. But that's what I'm saying, there is no law that says you have to
You don't
have it.
have to, but he
But-
couldn't give the report, he couldn't give a write-off of that $1 million.
No, that's
Right,
exactly
that's
right.
right.
But see,
Yes,
that
you're
write-off
correct.
is the problem.
Yes,
The whole problem, you might criticize me, because I think this is what it's gonna come down to, is giving out of love and not giving
No, that's-
with a little hint of a tax relief.
but that's what it was for,
That's the thing, that's the problem.
yes.
People and churches want their write-offs, and so
Right.
churches,
Exactly.
it's religious.
But it's not much of a write-off.
But
I mean,
it's
you gotta make too
not
much
about
of
the
it.
write-off, it's
No.
about giving out of love. And what
Yeah.
I do every Sunday is I address it, that we are giving out of love, and we are, yes, you get the benefit from it, okay, you get sent out every year, but that's not why you do it. We don't even give to get, we give out of love, I make that
I
clear.
know you do that.
But the point is, if the IRS ever took that privilege away, that is when you'll find out who truly has a heart of giving.
Yes, and
Now,
I'm,
That-
let me ask you this, Chris.
and under Obama, he was going to make the church marry gay people, and you're gonna have a gay person on, which you went through.
Oh, they were all that. He was.
And you were gonna make that happen, or you were gonna lose your 501(c)(3).
It's like, you used to be a lawyer, you probably had your own company, I have my own company, if I put something on the company, I can write it off, but I still have to buy it, so it's not like it's saving me a ton, the same thing with that. If you give money to the church or to a ministry, whether nonprofit or not, it's not like you're doing it because it's a write-off, it's such a small amount anyway.
See, right on the other
The
hand-
write-off doesn't make much of a
Let me
difference.
ask you, Chris, do you know the givers, the big givers in your church?
Oh, yeah.
See, here,
See, in my church, my pastor says he doesn't want to know.
Now, I
That's a
don't, I
bunch
don't
of
handle
bull.
the money.
Of course it
but I don't handle any of the money, my administrator does that, but I know because they come give it to me.
Yeah,
And then I have to give it to the administrator, because they don't give it in regular tithes and offerings, because they may just give it over lunch, or, you know, someone may slip a $20,000 check, say, here, you know, this is, I wanna support, I wanna pay for the roof, or I want. So, you know, and they do it, a lot of big companies give to churches because they have to do something with the money, or they pay
Yeah, companies
taxes,
do.
so they wanna give it to the Lord, but they need the write-off.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that,
No.
you know, they want the write-off for their company.
see, you're correct, you're correct. The right thing is that here is actually a microcosm of the IRS doing something correct, because you guys are not like Amazon or Publix. You're not out there trying to make a profit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they shouldn't be taxed.
No, we're a
Exactly.
nonprofit.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
oh, yeah.
see, what I'm talking about though, that guy this morning, he doesn't have a congregation, he doesn't have, you know, a group of people. He may start one and start that and have to do all this, but for him to get a certification of ministry or an ordination to be certified to be a minister, in the black community, that's standard procedure.
No, it's
Oh,
huge.
how about
They do
the white-
that-
The white community, that's
Right.
standard procedure.
and it's not true, it's wrong. That's what I keep telling you, it's wrong. Anybody can ordain anybody to do
You
anything.
can get it online.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
no.
And if you've been, the people who
And get a
are ordained,
501(c), people can
Hey,
send
Eddie.
you money and write it off.
the people who've been to seminary have a much harder time believing Jesus than the ones who haven't. Who just
Yeah.
become later in life.
Unless you're a Tea
Like
Party,
Dallas
you can't get it.
Seminary is like one of the biggest seminaries in the US. And I have 3 friends that went there.
And it's
And
crap.
I've been teaching the gospel the last 3 years.
You will.
What's the
Dallas
name?
Seminary, it's a
It's,
huge.
Okay.
It's
the
a
guy
huge
that
seminary.
ordained, anybody can ordain, if they're an ordained ministry, can ordain somebody under your ministry,
Right.
okay, in the state of Georgia,
That's
and
why.
biblically.
Oh,
Okay, but it depends what that guy's wanting. If he's wanting certain benefits, there's who's ordaining them has to have 501(c)(3) status to get the tax write-offs and
Yeah.
the benefits
Okay.
under that
Yeah.
covering. If
okay.
he's just wanting a piece of paper, you can buy that for $150 online. I mean, I ordained Lloyd.
Yeah.
Lloyd's ordained.
Yeah, Lord's ordained.
Yeah, he's ordained through us.
Okay.
But I have to abide by what his ministry teaches. Because if I don't, then I would lose the authority that I got from
Okay.
The
him.
same thing with Dwight, I think, with Frank.
Okay.
If my brother-in-law is an evangelist, okay, or if I'm Chris Aiken's Ministries and I go out and preach, Okay, I'm a pastor, but I'm under New Life there, and I'm salary. But if I go out and start, have Chris Akins Ministries, or Joel Talley Ministries, my brother-in-law, to get a 501c3 status for that, to give write-offs, that's a different setup ballgame compared to a nonprofit entity. And you have different rules and regulations you have to abide by, and you have certain write-offs you can do. It just depends on what it is.
Well, that's the first time I've ever
Evangelistically or
seen
in church.
that done in a public ministry type thing. You know, just in a Bible study.
Well, it's like he said, we could have, if Chris would have invited us to Lloyd's, we'd have been at Lloyd's ordination.
Yeah, he was there at church,
Yeah.
ordained.
Yeah,
The
man,
abuse
we'd have
is that
been
the
there.
IRS can,
Well, did you do it in front of your church?
Eating
Lieutenant?
chicken afterwards.
Chicken.
Eating chicken.
Oh, did we eat chicken? No, we just had fellowship. I
We
went
just
home.
came to service,
Yeah.
and we prayed,
It-
and,
yeah.
I can't remember if it was privately or if it was.
No, we was there and your dad was there
Yeah.
and then we had a big long line and I prayed for
You prayed for
everybody and then,
You know, at the ordination, I don't remember if we did it in front of the car. You don't have to.
You don't.
I could do it in my office.
Oh, okay.
You know, I could just pray. The main thing ordination is, you know, praying with the person, just, and giving them, it's just basically getting a card.
It's not an everyday occurrence.
No,
know.
it's not. No, it's not.
but anybody can do it. There's no legality saying
But
you have to
it's
get.
very popular in black culture.
But
They're-
that's the reason I say that, because I taught school with a lot of black folks.
Oh, yeah, they're all about
who were
tithing.
ordained. Reverend, they won't lean on that reverend name,
Of course,
And-
or doctor this or.
and,
Oh, yeah, apostle.
and I've often wondered, you know, what, are they getting a tax? Because if they're in a ministry, you get to determine how much of that money they get, goes to your housing allowance, goes to your expense account.
Yes.
And you get to determine that. The IRS don't necessarily determine that.
You can, that's where you have to have a 501c3 to get the write-off. But you can only claim up to 48% of a person, a pastor, a salary ordained minister. You can get 48%. That's it, up for housing allowance, everything. You have to pay at least 50% or more of your income for taxes. And then you got to.
No
But
average
hurts
human
you.
being gets that
hurts you in
kind
the
of
long
break.
run.
Now, wait a minute, say that again about the 50.
When I was on housing allowance, I paid taxes on 50% of my, 52% of my income. The other 46, 48%, I did not have to claim because it was housing allowance or utilities,
Right.
different write-offs. The problem, however, though, is on paper,